Like most games out there, Guild Wars 2 has its fair share of useful third-party websites and add-ons. Some of them are just generally useful, and others serve more specific purposes. This video will give an overview of the resources that I think are the best and why. Of course, not everyone should use all of these, and I'll try to cover the reasons for that as well. Let's get into it. First, we'll go over the websites. Starting off, we have GW2Efficiency.com. This is an excellent website with a very versatile toolkit that both new players and veterans can make good use of. My favorite features are the account search function, liquid gold tracker, and crafting calculator, but there's plenty of other things the site does that I can't fit into this video. Several features will require you to connect an account and add an API key, which is a code that you can generate for your account on the ArenaNet website for third-party sites and applications. This key can scan your Guild Wars 2 account and collect information about it. This is non-invasive and doesn't pose any security threats to your account. GW2Efficiency.com uses information from your API key for account-specific features, but you can still use the currency pages, crafting calculator, and other general features without making an account or linking an API key. Next is GW2Crafts.net. This is another website that pretty much all players can take advantage of. The sole purpose of this site is to make leveling your crafting professions easy and cheap. It uses the current trading post prices to determine the best items for you to make and gives you a shopping list of what you'll need to buy. The calculator assumes you instant buy all of the items. Leveling your crafting with this site is the only time that I'd recommend instant buying items on the trading post. If you already have some of the items you need, you can either put them in manually or you can paste in an API key for your Guild Wars 2 account. The site will then update the amounts that you need to buy. Then you can make everything that it tells you to, and you're done. Now, we'll be getting into websites for builds. The first one is Metabattle, which can be a good starting resource if you're looking for builds to do PvP, World vs. World, or general open world content. I wouldn't recommend using builds from Metabattle for endgame PvE content like raids, strikes, or fractals because there's better sites to find builds for those types of content. The Snowcrows website updates optimized builds that are suitable for endgame PvE content like raids and strikes. They also have videos and guides to help you learn optimized ability rotations to maximize your damage with each of the builds on their website. Most of these builds should be fine in Fractals, although some won't be completely optimized for it. If you want builds that are optimized specifically for Fractals, then the Discretize website is a great resource to use. Because these builds are optimized for Fractals, there might be differences that will make them not optimized for raids and strikes. If you want to use the same set of gear for raids, strikes, and fractals, go with the Snowcrows build and you won't lose out on much. The Fast Farming website is a good resource for finding general gold values for different farms and activities in the game, as well as guides for doing some of those things. I will put a disclaimer in here that a lot of the values they come up with involve unrealistic assumptions or a lack of reproducibility. There's also some things that are overvalued, as well as a lot of datasets that have very small sample sizes. It's still a great site to get a rough picture for the gold values of different activities or processes, but just realize that the exact values might not reflect what you'll get if you do those things. The next site is PewResearchCenter.com. You can find gold values and guides for different farms, activities, and processes, just like the Fast website. A lot of the information between the sites is similar, and Peu Research Center does have less than the Fast site overall. However, a lot of the farming numbers are far more realistic than those on the Fast site, the UI is much clearer, and navigating the site is also somewhat easier. You can use whichever site you prefer, or use both of them to get multiple perspectives. GW2BLTC.com is the last website that we'll cover in this video. It's a great resource for players who want to get into gold making methods that involve heavier use of the trading post, like flipping or investing. The primary function of this website is to display detailed trading post information, such as price history, supply, demand, and the amount of an item that's bought and sold. You can also make an account and link an API key from your Guild Wars 2 account to see details about what you've bought and sold on the trading post. I have an old VOD on my channel where I go through this website and how to use it in more detail, so if you're interested, you can go and watch that. Now we'll move on to add-ons. Just as a disclaimer, these may or may not work with the Steam version of the game. Hopefully in the future, the developers of each add-on will address any compatibility issues that exist for Steam. The first add-on is Blish HUD. Blish HUD is an overlay and add-on manager for Guild Wars 2, and it's really the closest thing we have to how add-ons function for most other games. Once you install Blish HUD, you'll have the ability to install modules, which are the actual add-ons that perform functions in the game. There's a lot of useful modules available for install through the Blish HUD UI as well as on their website. You can get modules to help you complete collections or achievements, modules that provide routes for completing map exploration, modules that help you keep track of raid mechanics, and way more. I do really want to urge new and returning players to not use any map exploration routes for their first time. Organically exploring the maps is a massive part of the new player experience in Guild Wars 2, and you'll really miss out on the charm of that if you just follow a route. Next, we have Guild Wars 2 Tactical Overlay, or TacO for short. TacO is actually what's used to create the marker packs you can find in the modules for Blish HUD. However, if you want to, you can go to the TacO website and install TacO as a standalone executable with most important packs included. Most players prefer Blish HUD to TacO because the UI is much nicer and you have options for other packs to install, but it's another option for players who don't want to use Blish HUD for whatever reason. Again, I do want to reiterate that I recommend newer players to avoid using map exploration routes for their first time through if they do choose to install TacO. Our final add-on is ArcDPS. ArcDPS is a third-party add-on that monitors combat information for you and members of your party or squad. It's especially useful for monitoring your performance and progress as you learn new builds or participate in endgame PvE content like Fractals, Strikes, and Raids. You can either keep it very simple and just use it to monitor your damage output, or you can get very in-depth and use it to monitor things like boon uptime, crowd control, DPS uptime, and ability rotations. You can even use it to create log files of encounters that you failed or succeeded at. It's a must-have add-on for players wanting to improve at endgame PvE content. You can also integrate it into Blish HUD if you want to. So those are the best third-party tools available for Guild Wars 2. Hopefully this video helped you find something that will enhance your experience of playing the game. If you did find this video helpful, I'd appreciate you taking the time to give it a like, and maybe even subscribe for more Guild Wars 2 guides in the future. Thanks for watching.